Good day, my dear televiewers. Once again, welcome to our weekly show, My Politics. This is your host, Art Barrit. Our guests this evening are our friends from the Carbon Alliance, or shall we call it a movement against carbon privatization. We have here the president or the chairperson of Carbon, Ana Marie Lariosa, and likewise one of the conveners of the Carbon Alliance, Reverend Gelloagan of the United Church of Christ in the Philippines, UCCP. Welcome and thank you for guesting our weekly show. Ma'am Ann and Reverend Pastor Ray, what is now the status of the alliance or the movement against carbon market privatization? I'll ask you first, Anne, since you are the president and one of the active conveners of this organization.
Hi, good day, Sir Art, and to all the viewers of my TV, good day. Actually, the movement against carbon market privatization is a separate group from the Carbonhanong Alyansa, which I chair.
I see.
Yeah, the Carbonhanong Alyansa, Alang sa reforma o Bahandianong Ogma sa mga Nanginabuhi.
Okay.
But we share the same cause.
Okay.
In movement against carbon market privatization, there are cargadores, cormateros, and some residents, and the urban poor communities is under the movement against carbon market privatization.
How about the ambulant vendors? Are they still also included?
Some,
okay.
and some loose vendors as well. And under Carbonhanong Alyansa is vendors of carbon market and some residents of 𝗖𝗿𝗶𝗃𝘁𝗁. Yeah, and the Independent Vendors Association in carbon market.
I see. And likewise, Reverend Pastor Ray, the church is so involved.
Yes.
On this endeavor, on this actual, or in this fight, no, of siding with the poor vendors in the carbon market. So, giunsa man yung pagsud sa maong alyansa o sa maong grupo?
Well, actually, first, I sympathize with them.
Okay.
On the aspect na I am also a customer.
Okay.
Patronizing carbon market because it is only in this place that you can buy cheaper commodities.
Okay.
Di man punta mo ingon nga kami mga pastor or mga pare, mga dato me. No?
You're also a consumer.
A consumer, simple consumer. At the same time, they conducted a rally in front of the Cebu City Hall. Where I passed by.
Okay.
And then, you know, in front of the Cebu City Hall is the Santo Niño Church.
Yes.
Well, most of the priests there is also my friends. And I said, the local government unit, while the people having a rally in front in their office, it seems that no one came to listen to their voices.
You mean to say the local government executives or the city officials?
The city officials of Cebu.
Okay.
And then at the same time, I am part of the church. The church is in front of Cebu City Hall. I said to myself, how can be of help to these people? Wherein supposed to be, we must be the voice. So I joined them, and then they asked me if you can send a message. And I said, why not? I am also a customer, a buyer of this carbon market. But I am also a sensitive observer of what is Cebu City.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not a Cebuano. When you say lumad Cebuano, because I am Tagalog. But most of my life, I am already here in Cebu, 30 years. So, yung ako, 22 years lang ko nga nagpuyo sa Manila, but most of my years is here in Cebu. When SM City was constructed at reclamation, I observed how Colon died, no, of its history, of its economic development, where its clientele are ordinary people. And I said, carbon market is supposed to be a public market. Now you are going to change the murag ang iyang kinabuhi. You have to change it. You privatize it. And this is the only living testament of how the economy of Cebu working.
So
Then
you
will
mean to
give
say,
it-
yes, Reverend, your involvement, your sympathy with the poor vendors started when they first made their rally in front of City Hall?
Yes. So it is my personal involvement with them. They did not invite me. And I said, well, I have a heart. Because our statement of faith also in the church is state that you must stand with the voiceless.
Yes.
No? And I cannot, di ko makalahutay nga magsigig paminaw sa mga tao, giabog sa mga pulis, and then no one from the city officials came down to explain.
Okay. Yeah.
Pamanay una ko, I will make myself involved in the Carbonhanong Alyansa as a customer, a buyer
Okay.
in carbon market.
Okay, but it's not your church, it's not your denomination that is involved, but it's your personal endeavor, personal sympathy and support
Yes,
to the carbon vendors,
Yeah.
not the UCCP.
not the UCCP.
Okay. Yes, Ma'am Ann, recently you were threatened with eviction. So, displacement of the carbon market vendors, actually, so to speak. So, unsa inyong gihimo? When you received that notice, or was there a notice given, or it was just a verbal, or verbally told or informed to the respective carbon vendors?
It was all verbal, and there was no notice given that we will vacate the
Okay.
Freedom Park and Warwick Barracks. And since the Freedom Traders Association, in which Antonio is the chair, is under the Carbonhanong Alyansa, we helped them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're asking for help because they were invited by the market head, Raquel Arce, on a meeting there in her office in
Okay.
Probe. The reason is because they have their meeting there. It's because the Unit 2 or the entry market is still not finished and abog daw kuno. So how come that they will force transfer the vendors on the 24th of January nga abog pa man gani? So it's very risky sa health sa vendors and at the same time sa customers.
Okay.
And then naapagihapon ang MOA ni by then Vice Mayor pa si Vice Mayor Michael Rama before. He said that the GVA should be scrutinized. That's why he come up with a solution to have a memorandum of agreement in supplemental to the GVA to cure the defects.
Okay, you're still hopeful to have that supplemental MOA to correct the defects of the former or the present joint venture agreement? Are you still hopeful for that? Considering that it was then Vice Mayor Rama who made that announcement, who made that statement that the GBA should be or must be corrected. And then here comes he's now the incumbent mayor, and then until now wala pa gyud ang iyahang supplemental MOA.
Yeah, there was no curing happened when he became the mayor of Cebu na karon, no? And yes, we are hopeful because the contract is defective. And if the contract is defective, kami nga mga manindahay sa carbon will be affected pod, di ba?
Okay, yes.
Kay syempre, masakiton gud ang kontrata. Ngano man ato mang ikuan ang masakiton nga kontrata, ayuhon gud na siya. Kay this is not kanang problem lang sa vendors. Problema sad ni sa umaabot sa mga konsumidor.
Okay.
no, dili ra pud sa konsumidor kundi ang ato pag yung mga silingan nga mga merkado nga naasod sa Sugbo ug silingan pagid natong mga probinsya nga naa nagpatronize sa carbon.
Yeah. And Reverend, what were your participation during that indignation rally when those poor market vendors staged a concerted action or concerted efforts?
2-day strike.
When that, it was 2 or 3 days or so ago.
2 days, January 24
Yeah.
and 25. Actually, I keep following them because we are part of the Carbonhanong Alyansa. We keep receiving messages, and then what is already the action. Ours is to give something to them, to inspire them. Na ayaw mo kawala og paglaom, kay ni ami nagapaluyo ninyo. Actually, when I said that, by joining them is my personal intention. Yet I asked permission from my church that if I can join them.
Okay.
And my church said, join. Because that is a people's cause. No? Ang ako lang ni ini, diha mga rally nga gihimo namin before this indignation. I even speak to the rally o giingon ako nila. We are not against development. We are not against of making carbon market a good market where people or the buyer will be happy. Pero ingon ako, development must not be development of the few, but development of everyone.
Okay.
If the economy keeps, ingon na to ba, kanang set aside the people's condition, then that economy will not prosper. Kaya ang gikuan ko na to, nganong nag-aspire tag development, nganong nag-aspire ta og good economy. This is not for the politics, this is not for the politicians, but this is for the people.
Okay, let's have a clearer picture to our audience. You are not against development.
Yes.
You are not against modernization.
Yeah.
You are against privatization
Yes.
of the carbon
Yeah.
market. Okay.
Because I said, SM has its own private market. Gaisano has its own private market. Colonnade has its own private market.
Okay.
Metro has its own. Then here comes carbon market that serves, no? Kanayon na to, mga ordinaryong Cebuano. Nganong kinahanglan pa man nato i-privatize? A good example that I would like to set. Ngano ang Barili? This is not a place nga ma-compare nimo sa Cebu City. Ngano nakapatukod sila merkado nga nindot?
They have their own public market,
Yeah.
which
Unya, ang
is
gobyerno
modernized.
nigasto.
Gobyerno mo'y
Gasto.
ni undertake.
Nganong
Okay.
kining Cebu City, dako kay siyang syudad. Nganong ihatag man niya sa private?
Let's have more discussion on this, my dear televiewers, with our two guests here, Reverend Ray Gelloagan and Ma'am Ann Lariosa. After these reminders, don't go away. Once again, welcome to our weekly show, My Politics. This is your host, Barrit. Our guest this evening is one of our conveners of the Freedom Traders Association. We have here, aside from Ann Lariosa of the Alyansa Carbonhanong, we have here our team Tata Remedio. Antonio, sorry. Welcome and good day.
Yes, good day to everyone. And thank you, Sir Barrit, for inviting us here.
Yeah. It was a 2-day concerted action sa imuhang sa Freedom, no? Freedom Park, actually. And I was there, no? Witnessing the concerted action staged by the Freedom Vendors Association. So, aside from the yung gihimo strike, there was a noise barrage, and then I hope, no, ang inyong pag saba-saba naabot dito sa Cebu City Hall. And I think naabot yun because there was a pronouncement from Mayor Rama nga di na siya makikistorya gani ninyo. It was reported in the local papers because niadto mo, nagpalaban mo sa grupo sa BOPK. I'll get your statement, Ana, and then also, Ma'am Ann. Unsa may imuhang panahom ana ta nga gipasangilan mo nga nganong muduol man mo diri nako nga di naman ko ninyo kay mayor wa man ko ilhan yung mayor to aman mo speakas.
So, ang akong panahon, kalisod di ay, no? Ug pananglitan. Dili gud mi kaduol niya kay gud ang gibugaan nga pulong.
Okay.
So, adto mi moduol sa mas makatabang namo.
I see.
Unsa may sakit sa buot. Ngayon man siya gani siya ang statement nga kinsa may inyong mayor karon. Wow. Good payor in town me. So kinahanglan unta mi sa imong tabang. But he told us, no, I don't want to talk to them. That's my statement. So kami sa taon nga kuan, nasagmuyo. Uy, wala gitay mahimuan ni. Kay muna. So among gibuhat is to convince Madam Margot Osmeña to help us. Am I right to help us?
Okay.
Diba? So, Madam Margot is ready for helping the Cebuano, especially the Carbonhanong Alyansa, and numutabang yun siya. So that's why, naingunanan na siya karon ang sitwasyon.
I see. Yes, Ma'am Ann. No?
Yeah,
Unsa may imuhang take when the mayor made a statement and it was reported in the local media. Indeed.
Yeah,
Why should I help you nga di man ko wa man mumuduol diri nako lain man yung giduulan, something like that.
Okay. Yes, I heard that and I read that in the newspaper as well, no? And it's very sad, Sir Art, because kana bitang why take it against the vendors nga ang mga concerns sa vendors are legitimate. No, kay syempre kami ang apektado.
Okay.
And also nganong politika man ang hisgutan ana nga kung buton-naon gani from the day they signed this contract is purely political naman because they signed the contract, the majority of the councilors of this current administration signed the contract without reading the entirety of the GVA. They hastily signed the contract, no? Nya usa pa gid sila kakuan nya at the same time ba nganong ipakasa man sa vendors nga mao na nga kung nay for example dili ra baya BOPK ang ni kuan ni kuan dito ni tabang nagpakita og simpatiya sa mga vendors naapoy lain nga mga kanang NGOs and other kanang groups and also na mga party list anyone is welcome to help kaysa pagsugod pa lang namo ani daan ginganlan pa mi og noisy minority daghan kay gipanghingan sa moa nga di kuno mi mga vendor sa carbon last 1 year na gud ni namo nga pakigbisog since March mi nagsugod og protest sa City Hall unya wala pa gyud kaayo mi nangapa mi walay ni tabang pa namo adtong mga higayuna gyud hantod nga nagkadugay nagkasaba ang issue sa carbon ug didto na kung kinsa to ang nitabang sa carbon amo gyud i-embrace and also he is the mayor nganong dili man niya ihid ang cry sa mga
vendors
tao sa mga vendors.
Not only the BOPK nga ni approach ninyo, not only other NGOs but likewise naapay mga political parties like mga party list nga niduol ni tabang, no?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the present city market administrator in the person of 𝗣𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗁, it seems nga when she kining ordered the eviction or the transfer of mga vendors, especially sa imuhang grupo diha sa Freedom Park, is it true nga wa mo'y nadawat nga mga papilis or
No, we have
order coming from the city mayor?
No papers, no eviction notice, no at all.
Okay.
But she told me during the meeting, you are, kanang balhin lang mo dito bang kasi inyong kabubuton lang ba? So dili man na lalim ang iyang ingon anaon ng tao nga kuan.
So you mean to say, balhin lang mo sa interim market,
Sa
your
interim.
own volition.
Murag kuan lang ba murag?
Sa inyo lang
Voluntary
kabubuton,
lang ba?
voluntary.
Oo.
So meaning to say nga, og voluntary, so maingon na to nga being the city market administrator o inyong gubon ang inyong mga respective stalls or inyong tindahan, wa siya tulubagon.
Ana, o siya tulubagon.
But
So minaro.
May ana murag
Yeah.
Amo na
siguro,
inyong nakuha.
murag, oo,
But,
oo.
Okay.
but gihatagan man, di ba, as what you said to me before, ingon ka nga, gihatagan mo og deadline.
O,
Kanus
deadline
anin
atong
nyo
last Monday.
i-vacate ang ilahang stalls because
The deadline, was there a written notice?
No.
Or, no,
There
wa
was
gihapon?
Only the tarpaulin,
The tarpaulin that
outside
was
the
placed.
Freedom Park.
Okay.
The date of the eviction or the temporary
kuan.
was on the tarpaulin. Is it the tarpaulin?
So unsa may ilahang valid reason nga
Voluntary?
anang adlaw or anang deadline ninyo nga gihatag nila nga kutob ra mo diha anang pitsaha.
Pa-schedule na ribbon cutting na to.
Kuan, ang valid reason nila is mag-opening. Ana pagka sa tawag 28 sa January.
January 28,
Yes.
Yeah.
soft opening
So
of the
there-
interim market.
the
Yes,
interim
because the
Was there a soft opening that occurred or that nahitabo?
Wala.
Wala.
Ulo.
But it was printed in the local papers nga ang mga vendors voluntarily ni sugot nga ni transfer na. It was reported. I
It
think
was
not
fake.
only
That's fake.
in the two local papers.
Yeah, it was a fake news. Maybe
Fake
because they never thought that the vendors will stage a 2-day strike.
Aha.
No, they wala na sila nag-expect ana. And then sa PR work siguro nila na submit na nila diha sa kana nga mga newspapers or any kuano media. And then they did not expect it, no, because the schedule has been arranged already on
Okay.
on January,
On January
28.
28. Are you still holding your paninda diha sa Freedom Market?
Of course.
Until karon?
Yes, until
At
karon.
this very
Yeah,
moment?
oh.
So there was no transfer, there was no closure?
No transfer.
No transfer, no closure?
Yeah, no transfer, no closure. We are already 95% solid.
And who are those nga ni-transfer kunuhay sa interim market?
They're allies.
Unsa ba to? Mga kining abat or mga tao ni RC?
Ana, murag anak gid siguro sila. Ano?
So, you are still
Yes, we are.
on the Freedom Park.
Oo.
So, business as usual.
As usual.
So, why na nira?
Why na nira?
Why na malhin?
Why na malhin?
So, meaning your indignation rally that you conducted for the last 2
Was
days
a success.
was a success.
100.1% successful.
And you know, because the vendors sila sige nagwa nagpanic gid ang mga vendors, ang uban naghilak na gani.
I see.
Ang uban gani sir, they have kanang gihakot na nila ang ilahang ubang gamit gidala na sa balay, di ba?
Okay.
And then kay nahadlok lagi sila,
I
di
see.
lagi gid sila mo transfer didto because of the reasons nga gamay kaayo ang pwesto compared to sa kasamtangan ba. And then kuan sad dili mabutangan og stocks ang ilahang pwesto, and then if wala dili nila mabutang og stocks, malimitahan ang ilang halin.
I see. I see.
'Di ba? So mao na siya sir, and then mo to ang mga issues pa gid before nga katong MOA, and then there's a case pa pending. So
Wa gihapon matakol, wa gihapon ma-address.
exactly.
Until now.
Yeah.
Napajigi po no, si Ma'am. Ma'am Raquel last day, yesterday, naigipangadto nga vendors or kato taga flower shop, ang ingon nga, pamanin na lang mo dinhi. Pwede naman mo magtinda sa interim, pwede rasad mo sa Freedom Park.
Okay.
That is a trick also.
Aha.
So, dayon ingon pagid siya nga kung dili gid na sila mamalhin ang katong nasa Freedom Park, ang kato ilang number diri sa kuan sa tumang certification, i-change nila, ihatag ni Ma'am Raquel og lain nga nagkinahanglan.
So, I see. Okay. So, it seems nga there's really an interest on the
Nay-
part of
Yeah,
the
if-
city officials. Nga grabe kayo.
Murag na intimidation
And
sa
at the same time, intimidation.
kay
no?
hadlok
Nga
gyud ka.
force.
Yeah.
Force. Okay. So, we have more discussion on this topics on carbon market privatization, my dear televiewers, with our guest, and then after these reminders. Don't go away. Once again, welcome to our weekly show, my dear televiewers. Good day. Our guest today is our friends from the Carbon Market Alliance, the movement of carbon against privatization. We have here Ann Lariosa and Reverend Ray, Pastor Ray. Yes, Ann.
Yeah.
There's an ongoing, and in fact, it was already filed for a Senate inquiry, for a congressional inquiry.
Yes.
With regards to the carbon market privatization program, no? So it was, I think, it was filed by Congressman of the South District of the city of Cebu, Congressman 𝗣𝗿𝗶𝘃𝗁, and what's your reaction or your comments on this? Now, considering that aside from Congressman 𝗍𝗍 there was also somebody, a party list organization or party list group, who also made a corresponding move in the House.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, Sir Art, no? Yeah, we are very thankful to Congressman 𝗍𝗿𝗶𝘃𝗁 nga ni duso sad siya diha sa Kongreso, no? Gani, bisan naa siya sa South District, ang carbon market belongs to the North, nagpakabana siya. Mas mayo pa, ngay nagpakabana pa siya. Kay sayod man si Congressman 𝗍𝗿 nga ang mga konstituente sa South nagpatronize sa carbon. Kay dili naman ni siya problema lang sa North nga kung asa nabilong ang carbon, no? Og dako kaming pasalamat ana nga I was surprised gani no nga kalang July last year pa din na-filed ni Congressman 𝗍𝗿, pero I heard gani support siya, but kato pa na-publicize ang iyahang giduso nga kuan. And also with the Gabriela party list, Congresswoman Arlene Brosas was there on our third day sa activity one day after sa strike sa mga vendors.
Okay.
She visited Carbon, and then the rest of the Makabayan block supported the voices of the vendors, no, about the privatization of carbon market.
I see. Okay, Reverend Ray, Pastor Ray, your help, your support to the carbon market vendors.
Okay, with regards to this issue, our Bishop of the West Visayas jurisdictional area made a statement already about this privatization nga dili gyud ni siya maghatag og kaayuhan alang sa mga manindahay ug sa mamalitay.
Okay.
At the same time, nag-extend ko og help nila kang ingon nga among convener sa Carbonhanong Alyansa para lang makig-meeting kang Mayor Michael Rama. Because I am also a close friend of Michael Rama.
Okay.
Because during our days nga magkuyog-kuyog, programa sa simbahan, programa sa LGU. So ang kwan lang ako nga tabangan, and then at the same time, nangayo mi og tabang sa mga city official.
Okay.
Nag-online mi. Pero ang among kasagmuyo, kay permi raman sila mo ingon noted. Nga namang nasagmuyo mi nga nag-ingon silang noted, ang giingon nila nga GBA nga ilang i-cure, wa gyud ma-cure up to this very moment. Nga maoy among gihulat. Ingon nato, nakita na nila nga dunay loophole ang mga joint venture agreement. Instead nga ilaning i-cure, nagpadayon ang operation diha sa carbon market.
I see.
Dislocating the people. So, sama nako nakayon ko para masabtan pod sa mga tao. We are not against development. Ang amo lang, nganong kinahanglan nga ihatag pa ni sa pribadong kumpanya nga mga hulugan kini o pagdako sa bayad sa renta, nga mga hulugan usab sa manindahay nga nagbayad sa dakong renta sa pagpasaka sa ilang gayod nga ginabaligya.
Okay.
So kami manggihapon nga mga consumer ang maapektuhan. So nagpadayon ko nga nag-participate nining maong panawagan aron mahayagan. At the same time moingon ko, kung ako nikuyog nila pagduol sa mga BOPK nga managan usab nining panahong eleksyon, ang ako lang nag-ingon ko panahon sa pakig-meeting nga wala ko muduol ninyo para kamo ikampanya. Niduol ko ninyo tungod kay nagpakita mo og dako nga ino nato nga kaluoy nini mga tao. Mao ra man ay pangita sa tao nganong gi-elect mo. Kay naa ang inyong kasing-kasing nga maluluyon. Pero always watch. Once nga dili mo makahimo pagtubag sa panginahanglan sa tao, nga maoy nagpili ninyo, kanang tao, di gyud nimo mapugos, nga mukuyog nimo gihapon.
Okay. Yeah, Reverend Ray, the issue on carbon market privatization has become politicized.
Yeah.
Is it a political issue? Is it an issue nga just because some politicians are siding with the poor market vendors, ilahang ipahid o ipasangil nga na-politicize?
Oh, well, actually, sa ako lang mismo nga manifestation, it is not a political issue.
Okay.
But it is an issue of a politician having a heart with these people. Maramay among gipangayo. Ikaw pinili man ka. Wala man ka gibutang diha sa imong kaugalingong kabubuton. Nagpapili ka kay tungod gusto ka mga lagad sa tao.
Okay.
No, kining mga tao, niduol karon sa imong opisina para mangayo og tabang. So asa karon ang imong tabang nga gusto gihatag at the same time yung sa ila lamang paglagda sa joint venture agreement nga wala nimo mabasa ang tibok papeles unya wa ka mag people ingno nato kanang consensus nga meeting dili gyud nimo ma-achieve ang ino nato majority nga kagustuhan sa mga tao nga dawaton.
Okay, because there was no dialogue or whatsoever or in the first place gihimo nga dialogue with the concerned vendors.
Yeah.
Okay? A consensus that was made nga prior to this program or project nga ilang gi-conceptualize. On your part, Ann, no, you didn't show any belligerent move nga dili ka duduso or dili ka kanaabang matawag nato nga pakibatok yun, no? Nga ang imuhang gitanaw, just unsay kaayuhan tanan, a status quo, something like that. So, are you still open for a dialogue or meetings with the city officials, specifically or especially with the city mayor?
Yes, definitely, Sir Art. Of course, no, kay mo good na ang amo ang gikuan nga dunggon mi sa panggamhanan labi na sa karon nga si Mayor Mike Rama na gud ang mayor nga saba kayo siya pagsinugdanan sa vice mayor pa siya and then now that he's mayor he had changed his tune na gud, no. So kanang kung dili mi niya kanang paminawon,
yeah,
mahugog unsa man day kinsa man masiya ang mamulitika kung ingon ana, di ba? Dapat dili ingon ana. Mo bitaw nagsyagit-syagit mi kay para paminawon mi. Okay. And then also as kanang nakig-set pod ko, I already texted his secretary and wala pa ko na kuan nga response, no, nga manta makig-dialogue mi ni Mayor Ramos.
Okay. Now, Ann and Reverend Pastor Ray, your unsolicited proposal, if you're going to modernize carbon, what is your take on this?
All right. We from Carbonhanong Alyansa, we acknowledge the need to redevelop carbon market because of its poor state right now.
Okay.
Diba? Di man gina nato ikalilo nga
Right.
ang carbon kinahanglan na gid siya i-rehabilitate. And kanang with the consensus, of course, with the market vendors, the stakeholders, and the consumers, no?
Okay.
And it should kanang in line, no, sa kanang ethnicity, sa dapat sa lugar, o with the less marginalized, the marginalized people, nga naa nagpatronize sa carbon, rather than privatization or commercializing carbon market.
Okay.
And also sa kanang kuani kanang dili bitaw nga magbase sa unsa ang gi-envision sa Megawide Corporation kay mo fit in ra man na sila ha. nga world-class market.
Okay. On your side, Reverend.
Well, actually, because I belong to Carbonhanong Alyansa, we have a group of architect, we have a group of engineers, we have a group of kanang mga businessman that willing to offer. Actually, ang among alternative proposal, nagsige naman yun tag-promote ng ining cooperative. So, ingon na mo, i-empower na to ang mga tao. Sila mismo magdumala, mga vendors, tungod kay ila na, di mas mapanindot nila ang ang carbon market.
I see.
So, ang kwampo namo niya na nga, nganong andaman mi nga muhatag og namo consultancy para nila. Because, ingon ako, as a consumer, as a Cebuano, no, at this time, ingon ako, tungod sa gidugayon nako, murag na-adapt nako sa kinaiyang Cebuano, nga nakaingon gyud ko, maunala nay nabilin nga handumanan, unsa ang Cebu. Nga kumuyong kag, mga tutag Cebu, asa man ta? Carbon market.
Okay. With that, Reverend Ray and Mama Ann, that ends our show, our program today. Thank you very much for being my guest. And to our televiewers, this is your host, Art Barrit. Manamilit lag mo ingon, nga samta mo hingos pang ilong sa tao. Yung mga pangandoy ug tingos bawan, way katapusan. Thank you very much and good day.